Hi all. Yesterday was very interesting on Reddit. I saw some controversy from Twitter posts by Nepo and Vladimir Kramnik about the Chess.com titled Tuesday event, and there's a candidate master called Stolen Monster, which does sound a bit nefarious, which maybe causes people to think a little bit more, be a bit more paranoid. And maybe make mistakes more. That's some kind of nickname, I don't know. But this candidate master has a very strong rating at Blitz Chess. So this time control is actually a 3-minute time control with 1 second increment. Okay, so the game kicks off with d4 from Daniel Nazaretsky, and he plays actually the Jabava London system, so knight c3. So he's done a lot of analysis on this, and it's an interesting system, the Jabava system. However, black just plays symmetrically, and it does seem kind of logical, black's play, just to play symmetrically like this. In principle, yeah, the knight in front of the c-pawn for a long time was thought this should be a nothing opening. Here, yeah, black does seem to have a decent enough system against it. So the double pawns, they're quite good for central control. We see bishop d3, the bishop dropping back. White castles, knight c6. Black also enjoys, of course, now this semi-open c-file. So overall, this is a really good system, it seems, against the Jabava London system as it's being played in this game. a3, we have rook c8. Knight e2, black castles. b4. Now this does weaken the c4 square, and black actually does quite a clever plan revolving around c4. There's a very famous game where Capablanca was outplayed by Alcuin in a World Championship match game with the c4 square, a knight being maneuvered to c4 later. So there's something quite similar here which we're about to see. So knight takes g6, h takes c3. We have e5. So knight d2. Black is being quite committal with the structure. We have knight e7, queen b3, knight f5, c4. Now the pawn's undoubled. D takes, knight takes c4, d5. Now this does reinforce c4 control, especially with this next move, knight d6. So c4 control is being reinforced. Rook ac1, b5. So this is the point where black is actually slightly better after a4. It seems white needs to try rook c5 here. So on knight c4, let's take knight c4, rook c1. And black could play now rook takes c5, b takes, and now knight takes e5. This situation, even though white is dropping a pawn, it is a passed pawn compensation here, and it's pretty interesting. It should be about even, but a4 is played, and in fact white's position starts to lose some play to it. It loses some counterplay actually. White's counterplay is being shut down here after knight c4. Black's making great use of that c4 square. We have also what seems to be a good threat of knight d2, but a very clever move from Daniel Naroditsky. A takes b5, tempting black to play knight d2. Knight d2 here would be a mistake to fork the queen and rook, because rook takes c8, queen takes, and now just queen b2 as example, and here just b takes, and you see that white has two connected passed pawns which are pretty strong. The knight's stranded, so let's say knight takes e3 desperado, but these two connected passed pawns would give white a clear advantage. So in fact black cleverly avoids the temptation of knight d2 and plays actually a takes b5. So this is really good stuff for this time control, 3-minute chess with 1 second increment. Very, very good stuff. A takes b5. We have h3. Now on this occasion this is a mistake now, allowing knight d2. Rook c2 would be better. And after queen e7, black can claim overall a small edge. But with h3, it just loses the exchange in broad daylight, knight d2. And, okay, so we have rook takes c8, queen takes c8, queen d1. Black has just won the exchange. And now queen c3 is a good move to eliminate the b pawn. So bishop takes b5, rook a8, that b pawn under fire. And, you know, if a move like queen b1, then there's rook a1. So we have king h2, rook a1 here, queen e2, and now queen takes b4. And there is a threat here of queen b1 to start attacking the king. We have bishop e8. This loses a piece for not too much, but what else? If bishop a6, just as an example, this attack is pretty strong, queen b1. So here, let's say king g3, knight h5 check, the king would be brought up the board, and this is desperate, knight takes g6. If g3, f5 check, and then queen d8 check, this situation, the white king's just going to get mated. So yes, if knight takes g6 is the best move, that's not good news. White's completely lost here, a rook down. So we see bishop e8 just dropping a piece, maybe hoping black would miss bishop takes f7, but that's taken. It's a disaster game. It's not one of, I don't believe this is one of Daniel Nadoritsky's best games. So the queen drops back here to defend f7. Queen takes d5. We have knight f6. So black, just a rook up. We have rook b8, queen a2, rook b7, knight takes g6. Doesn't really matter about that. Queen b8 check, knight e5, queen e8, queen a6, and now rook e7. So this is preparing, if necessary, to take that knight out of the equation. Queen d6, and now actually knight d7. We have knight c6, rook e6, queen c7. So here, a nice move, knight c5, so hitting the knight. d5, rook f6. Okay, so d6, the pawn is blockaded. Knight e7 check, king f8, king g1. So it seems as though white's causing some trouble with this pawn and the knight and queen. Queen b8, though, is a very good move in the circumstance, offering d7. It's aiming to simplify things, to relieve all the pressure. So it's a good kind of liberating move, offering a whole knight here. So the exchange up, but rook takes d6. And that knight is pretty loose. It's dropping off now. If the queen goes back to a4, the king could be the one to just take out the knight. So we have actually queen c8 check. So this is a much clearer position to play from now, the exchange up, especially because the knight's stranded as well. So f4, king e8, the knight stranded, king d8, g4, king takes c8, king g2, king d7. So king g3, king d6, king f4, and yeah, a rook down. So even a FIDE CM, which doesn't stand for Cookie Monster, it does stand for Candidate Master, even a FIDE CM could actually beat a Grandmaster from this position, a rook up. Yes, and here actually, Daniel Narodetsky resigns. So yes, an interesting game. It's just the first game I've just picked up from this controversial tournament now, where this CM did so well. So Stolen Monster, he's not Cookie Monster, he's a Candidate Master with a 2900 plus rating. And yeah, at this time limit, people seem to get confused. The likes of Kramnik and Nepo seem to get confused. 3-minute time control online with 1 second increments is not to do with 1 day chess. It's on 1 day chess you get those FIDE titles. So even someone with a low FIDE title can be, we see this, there's many examples around on both League Chess and Chess.com of 2800, Candidate Masters, even as well as FMs, being able to beat quite often IMs and GMs. So yes, this is just an interesting game. This is how this game happened, and yeah, I mean, White's opening is not that ambitious the way it's being played here. So I believe Black just played a decent enough game, was quite clever to avoid the immediate knight d2. But yeah, when h3 was played, that was actually losing the exchange for not too much compensation. So yes, this was a clever episode here of A takes B5 instead of knight D2, but this is just a mistake, H3, so things went downhill from this mistake. And it has been pointed out on Twitter as well that, you know, has anyone actually inspected the games before there's all this like controversy of a candidate master doing so well in this tournament? It's only a 3-minute tournament with 1 second increment. Please. Okay, so I thought I'd do this video, special video. Okay, hope you enjoyed it. Thanks very much. All comments, questions, likes and subscribes really appreciated. Thanks so much.